Well, happy Friday, everyone. I'm Chris Brown. It's time for your week in review from ClarkCountyToday.com. Let's start with some pot talk, shall we? The Clark County Council this week held another work session on the topic of the moratorium on marijuana-related businesses in the unincorporated areas of Clark County.
To the high schoolers talk about marijuana and what it does to their lives and how they want to do nothing more but smoke marijuana.
The nearly 2-hour work session focused primarily on the impact marijuana has had in the community since it was legalized in 2014. Members of the Clark County Sheriff's Office outlined the impact on traffic stops, with state toxicology labs now facing a 7 to 9 month backlog with blood tests due to the difficulty of telling whether someone is high during a traffic stop. A Washington State Patrol trooper also testified that the vast majority of their stops now include a whiff of the popular drug. Counselors also heard from police about the number of calls to 911 connected with pot shops in Vancouver, where they are allowed.
Speaking from the major crimes unit, I can just kind of tell you in Clark County, we have violent crimes associated with marijuana.
Clark County Public Health Officer Dr. Ellen Melnick also ran through surveys showing the prevalence of teens and marijuana use, including a rise in the percentage of 10th graders who no longer see the drug as potentially dangerous. New Council Chair Eileen Quirine is a clear opponent to the idea of lifting the moratorium and appeared ready to move on from the work session without any further hearings, but she was overruled by several members who said they would like to continue discussing the issue.
So are you going to let the rest of us talk, or are you going to answer every person individually? I mean, we all get a chance to speak here. You don't talk.
Would you like to speak?
I would, yes.
Well?
So I would be supportive of moving forward with another work session, looking specifically at the zoning and planning.
Several council members also said they're not sure whether statistics about teenage use of marijuana is relevant to the discussion at hand, which is whether it's the county's obligation to prevent pot sales when the drug is readily available in Vancouver and Battleground. Tara Pitchford with Landrace Labs, a marijuana producer and processor, said she believes there's another issue people aren't talking about.
Folks right now who live in far east county who might be really vulnerable and ill and in some cases needing access to their medicine every day, then they have to travel into the city and visit these shops where the opportunity for them to have something closer to home exists, and it's just being prevented right now because of the existence of this moratorium.
Jim Mullen, co-owner of the Herbery, which has 3 locations in Vancouver, said he feels opponents of marijuana retail locations are overstating the issues around stores and that full legalization would further reduce the problem.
From my experience and what I've been told, speaking specifically about Main Street, it's noise. You had people hanging out, people bothering neighbors, loud music. Those were, I don't know what percentage of the calls those were, but I know that there were a lot of calls from neighbors complaining about, all the late night traffic and volume of people and the noise that they were making. Not so much on the break-ins, but it's going to happen until we can get cash out of the system. It's just a double impact to us. We have pot and cash. It's like, kind of scary. I mean, very scary.
Of course, we'll be sure to stay on top of that story and follow up as things progress. Meanwhile, Battleground city leaders this week said they don't think a Second Amendment sanctuary city ordinance is in the cards there. The city has been pressured by Joey Gibson and his group Patriot Prayer, who have jammed the last 2 council meetings to push for the ordinance. Several councilors said they support the group, but others said they feel like Gibson's efforts would be better served in Olympia or the courts. Battleground is still considering a possible resolution in support of Second Amendment rights, but it would be largely a ceremonial move. In his editorial this week, ClarkCountyToday.com editor Ken Vance wrote about a rally held Monday on the steps of the state capitol in Olympia, attended by an estimated 2,000 residents from around the state, including a contingent from here in Clark County. The rally was to protest a number of bills currently before legislators that the citizens believe infringe on their rights to parent their children without interference from the government. Vancouver resident Oleg Kolichev was one of the protesters. He told ClarkCountyToday.com that the 7 bills and 2 companion bills being protested were completely against our family issues. Kolichev came to the area from his native Kazakhstan in 1990 and is the parent of 3 and grandparent of 6. We came to America for freedom of religion and freedom to raise our family how we know, Kolichev says. Now it seems like times are changing and everything is opposed to the family. Vance, meanwhile, also checked in with Rep. Vicky Kraft on Thursday. The Vancouver-based representative told Vance that House Bill 5395 concerning comprehensive sexual health education was, for all practical purposes, dead. after failing to make it out of committee. Kraft, who met the protesters at Monday's event, credited the citizens with helping to stall the momentum of that legislation. This week, we introduced you to Chris Driggins, better known as the Birdman. Reporter Jacob Graneman has more on his story.
If you often find yourself in East Vancouver, you might see a unique sight: a man and his parrot. Chris Birdman Driggins has been rescuing exotic birds for close to 40 years and runs Northwest Bird Rescue from his home in Vancouver.
There's nothing better than a bird. Nothing. Some like to cuddle, some want to interact and just talk, some want to play. They make you happy. They get a lot of the negative things off your mind.
Now, he's giving back in a new way with his Parrots for Patriots program. Designed to help local veterans adopt all types of rescued exotic birds, Parrots for Patriots is sustained through the sale of bird toys and bird perches, all handmade by vets.
I noticed when I was placing birds or rehoming birds, there was a specific group of people that I could tell would keep the bird longer. Then I started noticing a lot of our clients were veterans. I'm going to go ahead and start this veterans program. Sometimes some of us get damaged. Some of us GIs get damaged, and we hold that inside and we don't let it out. But it's so important for us to let others know that, we're human too.
Dozens of birds pass through Chris's care every week, and he has hopes for a full facility in the future, one capable of showing the public the importance of these incredible creatures.
It's a win-win situation. It's a win for the bird, it's a win for the veterans, and it's a win for us so we can help out the next bird and the next veteran in the future.
Jacob Graneman, ClarkCountyToday.com.
That is such a great story, Jacob. Thank you so much for doing that report. Be sure to watch the full video at ClarkCountyToday.com or on our Facebook page. Tiger Bowl has been a battleground institution since 1958, but you may not know the bowling alley recently received a lot of TLC. Robin Bailey, who has been bowling most of her life, bought Tiger Bowl, made it her goal to restore its small-town feel. Bowling teams from Prairie and Battleground high schools now use the facility, along with a seniors league and other specialty leagues during the summer. Bailey hopes to expand the bowling alley to include more lanes and a larger game room in the near future. And now it's time for your Week in Review sports update from ClarkCountyToday.com's Paul Valencia.
Paul Valencia here with Clark County Today Sports. The All-State basketball teams were announced by the Associated Press this week, and to no one's surprise in Clark County, Beyonce B. of Washougal is the Class 2A Girls Basketball Player of the Year. B led the Panthers to their first state championship, scoring 28 points in the finals. All season, she was a double-double machine. Here's something you might not know about her, though. If you go look at the WIAA site right now, the box score from the championship game, the official box score, will show she had 30 points. We say 28 because the Panthers know there was a mistake made that night on the score sheet, and Beyonce wants her teammates to get all the credit that they deserve. So she wants it known that she only scored 28 points that night. Her individual numbers do not mean much to her. Yes, she is the 2A State Player of the Year, but the crowning achievement of her career is the team's state title. She has always been about her school, her town, Washougal. Several others from Clark County made the all-state list as well. Go to ClarkCountyToday.com to read the story. Back to spring sports. Last weekend, some track and field athletes waited a day to start their spring breaks so they could attend a throwers clinic at Heritage High School. Scott Halley, a former NAIA national champion javelin thrower who is now a Masters national champion for his age group, was one of the instructors. So too was Sam Krauser, who won 4 Pac-12 titles, 2 national titles, and still holds the national high school record for the javelin. Heritage High School hosts this clinic every year, inviting athletes from all over to get instruction from the best.
Thanks so much, Paul. And there you have a quick look at some of the stories you'll find this week at ClarkCountyToday.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to be part of the conversation and see when new stories are posted. You can also send your story tips and ideas to news@ClarkCountyToday.com. For all of us at ClarkCountyToday.com, I'm Chris Brown. Thank you so much for watching. Have a terrific weekend, and we'll see you next week.